Israel has a good news. Their investigation has built a legal case documenting systematic and unprecedented cruelty with echoes of Adolf Eichmann trial.
The ruined landscape of Gaza has a bad news. After nearly 3 months of bombing, the situation has worsened.
The world has a bad news. Record numbers of migrants are seeking safety and economic opportunity, which is causing political backlash.
Chicago and New York have a bad news. They are at a breaking point as a surge of migrants heads north, and leaders in cities say they need more federal assistance. Volkswagen has a good news. They are trying to make an EV for the masses, following the success of their iconic models. IKEA has a neutral news. They are opening compact city center stores, but finding the optimal formula for the new, smaller shops hasn't been easy.
China has a bad news. Surveys suggest factory activity has slid deeper into contraction in December, and the services sector is struggling.
Investors have a bad news. China's internet giants have been cut down to size, and many investors are unsure of what comes next.
The entrepreneur has a neutral news. He has bet his company on a fight with Apple in a patent dispute, and so far, he is winning.
Abortion rights backers have a good news. They have changed their message and started winning campaigns in red-leaning states, with more to come in 2024. Investors have a neutral news. They are navigating the bond market in 2024, but face challenges including inflation and the deficit.
Jack Smith has a neutral news. He is asking an appeals court to reject Donald Trump's immunity claim in response to the former president's claim that he can't be prosecuted for official actions.
Good news. Apps Best Budgeting Apps for Individuals, Startups, and Small Businesses, 2023. This article highlights the availability of budgeting apps that can help individuals, startups, and small businesses manage their finances effectively.
Good news. GitHub makes Copilot Chat generally available, letting devs ask questions about code, 2023. GitHub's Copilot Chat, a programming-centric chatbot, is now available for both organizations and individuals subscribed to Copilot for Business. This allows developers to ask questions about code and receive assistance.
Good news. 6 great audiobook apps that aren't Audible, 2023. The article presents a list of alternative audiobook apps, offering a variety of options for users to enjoy audio content. Good news. TechCrunch's favorite apps of 2023. This article showcases a selection of apps that were praised by TechCrunch as being helpful and innovative throughout the year.
AI company executives can ensure generative AI is ethical with these steps. This is good news, as it suggests that AI company is taking steps to ensure the ethical use of generative AI. This shows that the company is proactive in addressing potential ethical concerns and prioritizing responsible AI practices.
Facing roadblocks, China's robotaxi darlings apply the brakes. This is bad news for the robotaxi startups mentioned, DeepRoute.ai, WeRide.ai, Pony.ai, Momenta, as it implies that they are facing challenges and are not progressing as expected. This indicates potential difficulties in the development and implementation of robotaxi technology in China. Should all acquaintance be robot? This is not specific to any company, so it cannot be categorized as good or bad news. It seems to be an opinion piece or reflection on the state of affairs during the week between Christmas and New Year's Day. GitHub makes Copilot Chat generally available, letting devs ask questions about code. This is good news, as it indicates that developers using GitHub's Copilot for Business now have access to Copilot Chat, which can help them ask questions about code. It improves the functionality and support available to developers using GitHub services.
The Equity Crew predicts we'll see fewer VCs in 2024. This is bad news for venture capitalists, as it suggests that there may be a decrease in the number of VCs in the upcoming year. It implies potential challenges or a shift in the investment landscape.
Interim analysis of the first-in-human clinical trial of Jiangsu Rec Biotechnology Co., Ltd.'s novel adjuvanted recombinant shingles vaccine, RET610, in the Philippines has yielded positive results. Novotech, a leading clinical research organization, has released their latest report on HIV clinical trials. The report reveals that there are currently over 1,000 HIV clinical trials taking place globally. This is good news for the millions of people worldwide who are living with HIV, as it shows that there is ongoing research and development efforts to find new treatments and potentially even a cure for the disease. With HIV affecting more than 39 million people, it is crucial to have a robust pipeline of clinical trials to continue advancing medical knowledge and improving patient outcomes.
Anne Merchant has been appointed as a non-executive director of Biodexa Pharmaceuticals plc, starting from December 31st, 2023.
SeaStar Medical has good news regarding the enrollment of subjects in its Neutralize-AChy clinical trial. The trial is evaluating the safety and effectiveness of its selective cytopheretic device in adults who have acute kidney injury and require continuous kidney replacement therapy. This device is a specialized therapy that targets and removes harmful substances from the bloodstream.
Slimaglutide, a new product introduced by High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, is being hailed as a revolutionary breakthrough in weight management. The product is classified as a glucagon-like peptide-1, GLP-1 receptor agonist. GLP-1 is a hormone produced in the gut that plays a vital role in regulating appetite. Receptor agonists like slimaglutide work by activating the GLP-1 receptors, leading to increased feelings of satiety and reduced food cravings. This innovative approach opens up new possibilities in the field of weight management and offers hope for individuals struggling with obesity.
Enveric Biosciences has announced the selection of EB03 as its lead drug candidate from the EVM301 series. This is good news for the company as it indicates progress in their next-generation drug development efforts. Ascendis Pharma has a good news because their president, CEO, CFO, and head of research and product development will participate in the 42nd annual J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference.
Heranova Life Sciences has a good news because they have successfully secured $13.5 million in Seed and Seed Plus round funding. This funding will be used to develop and provide integrated clinical solutions specifically catered to women's health on a global scale.
B Biopharma has good news because their Chief Executive Officer, Joanne Smith Farrell, Ph.D., will be presenting at the 42nd Annual J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference. This conference is a major event in the healthcare industry, and it provides an opportunity for B Biopharma to showcase their innovative work in the discovery and development of engineered B-cell medicines. The presentation will take place on Wednesday, January 10, 2024, at the Westin St. Francis in San Francisco, CA. This news highlights the company's progress and recognition in the field of biopharmaceuticals.
Titan Pharmaceuticals has announced a reverse stock split with a ratio of 1-for-20. This means that for every 20 shares held by investors, they will receive 1 share after the split. The decision was made by the company's board of directors and will be effective once an amendment to the company's amended and restated certificate of incorporation is filed.
DP Tekken aims to expand its AI technology into human oncology, indicating good news for the biotech and health industry. This suggests advancements in cancer treatment and potentially improved outcomes for patients.
Impramed, a California-based precision medicine startup, builds AI-powered dog cancer treatment technology, which is positive news for the biotech and health industry. It showcases advancements in personalized medicine for pets, aiding veterinarians in identifying suitable drugs for individual animals.
Apple will be halting sales of its Apple Watch Series 9 due to a patent dispute, indicating bad news for the company. This halt in sales could impact Apple's revenue and market share in the smartwatch industry.
Valley investors are investing in initiatives to reduce methane emissions from cow burps, which is good news for environmental sustainability. This shows efforts to tackle greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate climate change. Cogita, a wholesale marketplace for retailers, raised $86 million in a Series B round, which is positive news for the company. This investment indicates potential growth and expansion in the e-commerce wholesale sector.
FirstCry, a SoftBank-backed e-commerce platform, aims to raise $218 million through an IPO in India. This is good news for the company as it demonstrates investor confidence and provides funds for expansion.
Etsy, an e-commerce platform, experienced layoffs, which is bad news for the company. This indicates challenges in the business and potentially negative impacts on employee morale.
The EU's provisional deal on gig worker rights failed to get enough backing from member states. This is bad news for precarious gig workers in the EU, as their rights may not be adequately protected.
HomeCooks, positioning itself as the Etsy of food, successfully raised $3.2 million in seed funding. This is good news, as it signifies investor interest and financial support for the startup.
MaxAB, an Egyptian B2B e-commerce startup, and Wasoko, a Kenya-based e-commerce player, are in talks to merge operations. This could be seen as good news for both companies, as it may lead to increased market share and synergies. Crypto India plans to block the websites of crypto exchanges Binance and Kraken in India. This is bad news because it restricts access to these platforms for Indian users.
NFTs are believed to have underlying value in various use cases, which suggests good news for the industry.
Hackers stole $2 billion in crypto in 2023, indicating bad news for the security of cryptocurrencies.
The second part of the Equity Podcast series explores major events of 2023, providing a general overview without specific company news.
Archon Energy raised $110 million to expand its U.S. Bitcoin mining capacity and launch an AI cloud service in Norway, which is good news for the company's growth plans.
Biden has a good news. Their administration extended the suspension of Trump-era tariffs on European steel and aluminum for 2 years. The news on data quality is bad. The response rates for surveys have fallen, leading to fuzzier survey results. There is good news for central banks. Dissenting votes at the Federal Reserve's interest rate setting committee meetings have significantly decreased during Jerome Powell's tenure as the head of the central bank. The Misery Index suggests that Americans may not be as miserable as expected, which could be seen as good news. Cities are trying to address housing shortages by changing zoning regulations to accommodate more housing units on existing lots. However, this approach has been controversial.
The outlook for inflation is normalizing by 2024. After reaching multi-decade highs, inflation is expected to return to the comfort zones of central banks in North America and Europe. Investors have cut China's internet giants down to size. Their companies have had a lousy 3 years. Fintech had both hits and misses in 2023.
Vestwell raised $125 million in a funding round. Salesforce acquired Spiff, a platform for commission management. Good news.
Tamara, a Saudi buy now pay later platform, raised $340 million. Good news. Fintech industry had a wild ride in 2023.
Startups, remembering the startups we lost in 2023. Bad news as it discusses the collapse of startups. Startups Yearly, the biggest startup stories from 2023. No specific company mentioned.
With hopes for greener grass in Germany vanishing, consolidation is in the cards for cannabis companies. Bad news for cannabis startups, as legal cannabis markets did not develop much in 2023.
The TechCrunch Plus surveys you need to read ahead of 2024. No specific company mentioned.
Shield AI expands massive Series F with another $300 million in equity, debt, scaling valuation to 2.8. Good news for Shield AI as it successfully expands its funding round.
The article Venture Remembering the Startups We Lost in 2023 discusses the collapse of various startups in 2023. This is bad news, as it signifies the failure and closure of these companies.
The article, the TechCrunch Plus surveys you need to read ahead of 2024, shares the thoughts of investors and founders through surveys. This can be considered good news as it provides valuable insights and perspectives for the upcoming year.
The article, Play Our 2023 TechCrunch Pub Quiz, Round 2, offers a quiz to test readers' knowledge of events in 2023. This is neutral news as it simply provides an interactive activity for readers. The article, More than 40 Investors Share Their Top Predictions for 2024, presents predictions and expectations from VCs for the next year. This is good news as it offers valuable insights into the future of the market. The article, 3 Years After BLM, Here's who stuck to their diversity commitments. Examines companies and investors who made diversity commitments following the Black Lives Matter protests of 2020. This can be seen as both good and bad news, depending on whether the companies fulfilled their commitments or not.